What's up? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com. You guys know that we love having fun with flavors, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're gonna make some Fireball Peach smoked ribs. And a lot of people were like, Fireball, and maybe it brought up some bad memories, but the reality is it has a great cinnamon flavor that pairs beautiful with peaches, perfectly with smoked ribs, and we're gonna be using the brand new Hey Grill Hey Rib Rub, so you know it's gonna be fantastic. Let's do it. Thanks for all the support watching this video. If you've ever wondered, how can I help Hey Grill Hey grow and support my favorite barbecue creator, you can check out thegrillsquad.com. It's my online barbecue community and education platform, and I would love to have you be a part of it. Thanks. All right, we are starting with 2 racks of St. Louis style spare ribs. That means these full spares are trimmed down into a nice, beautiful, convenient package. St. Louis spares are fatty, they're delectable, they cook up nice and thick, and we're gonna be making these in a modified 3-2-1. If you're familiar with that cooking method, it is great for adding both smoke and infusing the ribs with flavor during a braising step. We're also gonna be making a homemade Fireball Peach glaze to go on top of it. But first, we gotta get these guys seasoned up with the rib rub. Once we get the seasoning on there, I like to give it a good press with my hands. This helps the seasoning adhere, and that salt having direct contact with the meat will start to sweat things a little bit, so we'll get a nice, shiny, lacquery coating on the outside with our seasoning. Oh, I should mention, this rib rub also has cinnamon in it. It plays perfectly with the cinnamon flavors we have going on in the braise and the glaze.
That was a secret.
That was a secret. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just kidding. Recipes
the recipe's on HeyGrillHey.com. Do you want to hear an awesome story about these ribs, Todd? And listener, viewer? Okay, here's an awesome story about these particular ribs. This recipe comes from Brandon. Here's a picture of Brandon. He's the best. He's also the social media manager at Hey Grill Hey, and he's our product testing specialist, which means all the grill reviews that we see on HeyGrillHey.com are coming from Brandon. And while he's testing all of the grills, obviously he has to cook things on the grills. So he developed this Fireball Peach recipe and was kind enough to share it with me, which meant that I could share it with you guys. So thank you, Brandon. And you're all gonna be seeing a lot more of Brandon, because once we finish our outdoor kitchen studio area, he's gonna come to where we live and we're gonna film a bunch of those product review videos. So you're gonna get to see a lot more of him. All right, our ribs are seasoned. We've got our smoker preheated to 225 degrees. We're gonna keep it low and slow today. We've got a mix of oak and cherry, but I think your favorite hardwood would work great here. Any fruity woods would be super nice with pork and the peachiness. Nice and light, fruity, delicious. Yeah, if you got peach wood, knock yourself out. So far, so good. These are gonna go onto the smoker grates for 3 hours. We're not gonna lift the lid. We're not gonna peek. We're just gonna let them soak up all of that delicious smoky flavor. I put the ribs on the top 2 racks on the Masterbuilt because it does have a hotter heat on the bottom. And when we've cooked ribs on the bottom rack in the past, they tend to get a little bit crunchy. So I like them up on the higher racks, but put them wherever works best in your smoker. Our ribs have been smoking for about 3 hours. That means it's time for our braising period. Now, I know a lot of people are no wrap, and that's fine for traditional barbecue ribs, but when you're trying to really infuse every bite of your ribs with flavor, then I think a really good wrap and braise is a great way to do that. And we're gonna be hitting these ribs with a ton of flavor during this braising period. So we're gonna roll out 2 long sheets of heavy duty extra wide foil, and we'll start topping those with our braise ingredients. Down the center of each of our sheets, I'm gonna lay down a couple pads of butter. It's about a tablespoon in each pad. I've got 1 peach that's been peeled and diced, so half in each foil pack. I've got a half a cup of brown sugar. I'll divide between both pieces of foil. And then I'll sprinkle each with about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now our ribs are gonna go meat side down on top of all of this yummy brown sugary peachy goodness. So when it braises, it's really sitting meat heavy in all of these yummies. Now we're gonna make a little bit of a boat situation by folding up the long ends and the short ends. We're gonna be gentle. We don't wanna pierce the foil with the exposed bones. And then once we made our boats, we're gonna pour about 2 tablespoons of Fireball into each pouch. Now we're gonna wrap these up. They don't have to be too tight because we will want to temperature check these during the cooking process. And if you go way, way, way too tight, it makes it hard to pop it open. So leave yourself a space where you can open them up, check those temperatures, and then we're going back on the smoker. Now these are gonna smoke again at 225 degrees for the next probably hour and a half, up to 2 hours, depending on the thickness of your ribs. We're looking for an internal temperature in the meatiest part of those ribs between the bones to hit about 195 degrees Fahrenheit. That'll give us a great bite through but not fall off the bone texture. We're gonna start checking at an hour just so we don't overshoot our mark. And while that's happening, we're gonna make our Fireball Peach Glaze. Let's make this beautiful Fireball Peach Glaze. Basically, everybody goes into the pot and then we simmer it for 20 minutes to tighten all of the sugars, soften our peaches, and then we set it aside until we're ready to baste our ribs. Here's what you'll need. 1 full peach that's been peeled and pitted and cut into about 1/4 inch thick wedges. 3/4 of a cup of Fireball whiskey, 1/2 cup of peach preserves, 1/4 cup of ketchup, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 4 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 4 teaspoons of the rib rub, and 1 more teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Give it a stir and a simmer. We will have a beautiful, beautiful, shiny rib glaze to baste on those smoked Fireball Peach ribs. All right, we're about an hour and a half into the braised portion of our rib cook. We're gonna crack open the foil, give these guys a little look. I think they're right where we want them to be. Our glaze is made, so we're ready to rock and roll. Both these guys are reading right about 195-ish, which is perfect. That's right where we want them. We're gonna carefully remove these from the foil, discard the foil, and then we'll get our glaze on. Glaze is on, and because we like things to taste good and be pretty, I'm taking those quarter inch thick peach wedges that we cooked in our glaze and just arranging them on the top of our ribs. Beautiful. Now our ribs are mostly done. We're gonna leave them on the smoker for another half hour or so. This is gonna let the glaze tack up on the outside, but it's also gonna just finish cooking those ribs to the doneness that we're looking for and give us that beautiful bite through, tender, perfect finish on the smoked ribs. All right, 30 minutes have passed. The ribs are ready. I'm ready. Let's take one of these racks off and have a little taste test. I'm gonna tell you to let these rest for a minute. Number one, they're probably about 200 degrees. Nobody wants to eat 200-degree ribs. The ideal cutting and eating temperature for a rack of ribs like this would be between 155 and 165. And that means you should let these sit at room temperature for probably 15 minutes or so until they're ready to slice. But we're on camera, I'm an idiot, and I'm hungry. So I'm gonna slice one off the end, give you a look at the inside, and then I get to eat a piece. Oh, like butter. Like butter the knife went through, Todd. We'll cut 2 so Todd can have one also. Look at this. Would you look at that?
Drippy.
Oh my gosh. That's a good looking rib, Todd. I am just gonna melt my face off trying to take a bite of this. I can feel it on my fingers. Ooh, I'm scared, okay. Oh yes. I mean, hello on texture. Beautiful smoke flavor. You can see that pinky smoke ring. Great bite through. That $1.95 gives you a great bite and pull, but it still has a little bit of texture. It's not completely fall off the bone. Oh, there's the cinnamon. You initially get that sweet from the peach, sweet from the glaze, sweet from the rib rub, and then that cinnamon is sneaky from the Fireball. That is delicious. Not necessarily spicy, but when Brandon developed this recipe, he described it to me as like if you melted cinnamon bears in a glaze. And that is definitely what it tastes like. It is perfect with the peach. Oh, this is unique. This is tasty. This is me wanting more of these right now. I got a whole other rack in there. Oh, good day. This recipe is available on heygrillhey.com. You can support our videos and our business by shopping our products like the rib rub, or you can access all of the recipes from the site on the website or on the Hey Grill Hey app. If you want to take everything backyard barbecue to the next level, check out thegrillsquad.com. It's my way of helping you become a backyard barbecue hero. And we'll see you guys next time. They're seriously perfect. We did it. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.